Chicago Bulls are on the road in this interconference game today. And here it comes. The NBA on 2K Sports. With Greg Anthony and Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan. All fueled up and ready to go. Let's check out who's on the floor, courtesy of Gatorade. So for Chicago right now, Rose is the 1 with Butler as the 2. Gibson is the 4 with Gasol at the 5. And it's Dunleavy in at the small forward position.
And guys, you talk about ascendant stars in the NBA. None brighter than Steph Curry, the leading vote getter for the All-Star game a season ago. But what I love, he doesn't let it go to his head. I mean, he remains grounded and focused on winning.
And it's Butler missing.
And you can see the defenders afraid to kind of get in his way a lot of times when he's on his way to the basket. But on that one, they were there.
Butler missing again. Pulls on D. 4-point game. Passes it to Curry. And the officials whistle a foul on the shot. The bucket's good. He'll go to the line.
And Steph Curry, 6'3" and about 195. I mean, a slender frame. You look back to high school and college, and that was one of the question marks. Did he have the strength to succeed?
Now Curry. Pau Gasol missing from long range. From deep three-point range, the shot by Curry, no good.
Boy, just by his body language, Kevin, you can tell he thought that triple was going to fall.
Yeah, it seemed like he had great rhythm on that. You can see the disappointment in his face.
And speaking of Curry's slight build, he's worked up and bulked himself. He's added some muscle. He even got up to 200 pounds, I think he said. But he didn't feel real good, Clark, at that weight.
Yeah, it's not about the weight, Kevin. It's about strength. You need it to fight through screens and attack the rim. And he's clearly put on the strength he needs to play at his highest level.
From deep. Here's Green, and Gasol sends it back. That's going to be over and back. Not watching for the line that time. Unable to get the ball in bounds. They get called for the 5-second violation. Here in the first quarter with about 2 minutes gone by. Right side Gibson shoots it up. Wow, way off on that one.
You almost have to assume he's going to knock those down when he is that open.
And again, it's the Warriors missing. Chicago has gone just 1 of 4 from three-point range here in the first. Warriors with the rebound.
Tell you what, they haven't wasted any time getting into the swing of things on the boards.
And even this early, that's a good omen for the rest of the game.
For so long, there has been this mindset that Golden State wins through offense, but their defense, you know, Gia, you were talking about this, is where the true strength of this team lies.
Yeah, I think that's what's really allowed them to separate when you look at the rest of the league. I mean, they led the league in opponents' field goal percentage last season, and some nights the shots weren't falling, but the defense always showed up. Not really his best quarter as far as scoring. Let's see if he can eventually get back on track.
Rose, no good.
Not really sure what he was thinking about on that shot. That is not high IQ basketball.
Not at all. I mean, he shouldn't even have considered taking that shot. Just a poor choice there.
Yes. Mike Dunn.
Now here's Curry. He has 7. Thompson for 3. No luck. Some solid defense from Butler. He feeds it to Rose. Can't tie it up as that one's no good.
He's been anything but his usual self this quarter. It's actually been ugly to see.
Butler with the steal. Oh, and a fast break for the Bulls. And you can count it. He'll go to the line with a chance to make it 3.
What a nice play. Stole it away and took it coast to coast.
And the Warriors with a completely new 5 on the floor. So Chicago going with an almost entirely new group here. Joakim Noah is checked in for Gasol. Mirotic comes in for Taj Gibson. McDermott's checked in for Mike Dunleavy. And it's Brooks in for Derrick Rose. Morris checked in for Jimmy Butler. Brooks with no one around. And again, no good by Chicago. Here's Livingston. An absolute bomb from three-point range.
A good open look, and he splashes home the three.
Chicago trailing here. Here's Brooks. Kept alive. Here's Mirotic. Another shot, and it's good on the layup.
Well, I tell you what, the post play has been rock solid right off the bat.
It really has, and they've created a lot of high percentage shots in the paint here already.
Nikola Mirotic, drafted as a late first-rounder, Clark, back in 2011. The Spanish star finally made his rookie debut in the NBA last season, and it was worth the wait.
It sure was, Kevin. I mean, once he started to get consistent PT, I mean, he was remarkable. Can run like the wind for a big guy, not that strong, but more aggressive than you'd think.
And two shots coming up at the line as he gets fouled on the shot. And Golden State gets called for the foul.
And back to Mirotic last season. Per 36 minutes, he averaged 18 points, 9 rebounds. He was also a tremendous foul shooter for a rookie big and made the all-rookie first team, was second in Rookie of the Year voting. I mean, what more could you ask for?
And, you know, for Mirotic, his value extends to the defensive end as well. He did a surprisingly good job of racking up blocks and steals last season. You have to believe that if he improves his power and consistency, an all-star nod isn't so far off.
Timeout for Golden State.
And the Warriors decide to take their first timeout here. For a franchise that had so much success under his tenure, there was sure a lot of friction with Tom Thibodeau, and the Bulls front office surprised a lot of people, I know, including yourself.
Yeah, you know, it's not something that you see often, a winning coach at odds with his GM and president. With how often their differences came up, though, you knew something was afoot.
.56 seconds left in the first quarter. Barbosa gets the bucket. Couldn't run the inbound play any better than right there.
Into the Bulls, shooting just 26% early.
And with Thibs, he did end up getting fired from the Bulls this past season. Some saw it coming, but still, I think surprising given the level of success he had. His imprint is all over this Bulls team in the way they approach the game.
Out of bounds, Golden State takes possession.
No clue where that pass was going. That is a brutal turnover.
Some changes for Golden State. Brandon Rush is checked in for Spates. And Ian Clark subbed in for Leandro Barbosa.
And when you look at how Thibs got fired, I mean, there are a lot of reasons why a coach can be let go. I mean, he didn't have any performance issues, but apparently clashed in some form or fashion with the front office. Sometimes that's all it takes to be asked to go somewhere else.
Here's Livingston. Here's Ezeli. Off to a good start as he hits his first shot attempt.
And another lead change here. How many of these are we going to have tonight?
I'm not quite sure, but I'm willing to bet it'll be more than a few. Rock hard finish there, guys.
And only one hand needed for that one.
Yeah, and sometimes that's all you need.
Fires the three. And no good trying to get that one. Tie game and some big points. And the Gasol brothers, both starters in the All-Star game last season. It's the first time that's... Well, their story is a bit like a fairy tale, the way two of them, sons of medical professionals in Spain, have become two of the best centers in the NBA of this era.
Yeah, and especially, Kevin, when you remember what a raw talent and how big and bulky Marc Gasol was when he was drafted by the Lakers, who traded him to Memphis for his brother.
Neither team able to build much of a lead up to this point as we start the second quarter. What do you guys think about the Warriors here so far?
Right from the start, they have been able to really own that paint. and just dominate the backboard.
Well, Greg, you can't dominate the boards unless all 5 guys are making the effort to box out and chase down the ball.
Moment here now for an injury report. Right now, let's get an update on Klay Thompson. Doris, what's his status?
Kevin, the Warriors' head athletic trainer gave me an update. He told me that it doesn't look too serious.
All right, Doris, really appreciate you finding out how he's doing.
And, you know, I know everyone is rooting for him to make a quick and full recovery.
Absolutely. I mean, his teammates want him back out there as much as he wants to be back out there.
Klay Thompson and Brandon Rush at the 2 and 3. Green is out there with Festus Ezeli, and it's Clark in at the 1 spot. That's the group for the Golden State Warriors to start the second quarter. Last season, Draymond Green taking over the starting power forward role in Golden State. Last season, David Lee was injured, remember, in preseason. Green was inserted, and he's been terrific ever since.
Absolutely superb. A former second-round pick, his emergence has fueled this team's rise to greatness.
Looking at who's out there now for the Warriors. Andrew Bogut checked in for Ezeli. Barnes comes in for Brandon Rush. And Curry subbed in for Ian Clark.
And guys, right now, the defense mentally not there. Can't afford too many of those in a close game like this.
Yeah, Jay, you're right. Almost a free run, don't you think? Clark to the hoop for him there.
Momentum can swing on plays like that, Kevin, especially when the finish has that much thunder on it.
And I really have always felt Draymond Green was one of those unique players. I mean, he kind of a tweener in terms of that small forward, power forward at only 6'7". But he's got toughness. The long arms enable him to defend bigger guys. And also the basketball IQ. You can never discount the importance of understanding what you're doing when you're on the floor.
Here's Thompson. Holiday with the block. And it's Rose penetrating. And he gets it to go. Rose has got his second bucket of the night.
The only way he was getting to the hoop was to use the double clutch. And with Draymond Green, he can defend inside, he can cover on the perimeter. I mean, his versatility at both ends of the floor also a huge asset. And you can't have a higher basketball IQ than he does. It really helps him.
Look at that jam! I mean, just beautiful.
And you talk. Talk about momentum. That sort of action delivers a type of energy to your team that you just can't quantify.
You know what? I'm going to quantify it right now, Clark. And this is a close game, and that was something special.
And really,
Good try.
in a game, you guys, in a game like this, though, when you have a chance to send a message, you do. And boy, did he ever on that play.
And the replay, of course, presented by Kia. What a play. Offensive rebound, Bogut. And there's the whistle, fouled hard on the shot. He'll go to the line. And look at how the hustle game has been going for the Bulls.
You know, they've done a great job of getting a hand up on shooters. Actually have gotten a lot of blocks as well, solidifying that defensive effort.
And the other thing that's been equally as effective is the fact that they've gotten out on the fast break. A lot of points coming in transition.
Looking at who's out there now for the Warriors. Spates checked in for Draymond Green. Iguodala comes in for Harrison Barnes. And it's Barbosa in for Klay Thompson.
Solid on the one-hand throw down there.
You know, Clark, when it's a tight ball game like this, he's the guy they want with the ball.
Yep.
Yeah, and one reason why I just don't know that I've ever seen him miss a play like that.
And that's out of bounds. Chicago will retain possession.
You know what? A low percentage pass on that one, but sometimes